Hello, everybody. This is Polish Up Your Polish Lesson Zero. This is a course of Polish language. If you really want to learn the language, I'm gonna help you out with this. Now, at the very beginning, I want to mention one thing. I'm not an English tutor. I'm not a Polish tutor as well, but I do like both of those languages. Well, I actually like plenty of languages, but those two I like the most, definitely. And I'm trying to make a course a little bit different than you met before because um, there is this one thing when you buy a course book and you want to learn the language by yourself, it always starts like this: a dialogue, yeah, and there are certain words, expressions you need to remember, repeat, so on and so forth. And it's okay, all right, that's fine, but you do not have that much time to take care of everything, and you need to do that by yourself. And repeating over and over again the same sentences is kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a boring, definitely. But second of all, you're only learning the language. Okay, you might want to ask, what's the point of learning other than learning the language? Well, there is one thing, because you learn the language to actually use the language. And I'm going to help you out with the use of Polish language as much as possible, as much as I can, of course. Now, there are certain, I just call them the language issues, and each language has their own issues, actually. But there are certain things that we need to consider while learning any language, actually, especially if it's written in the Latin alphabet, because Chinese or Arabic languages are just a little bit different. But any language, any, let's say, European language, has certain issues, and those issues are like this: grammar rules, pronunciation, and vocabulary. Now, which one of those three is the most important? The answer is all of them are important. And because all of them we need to well, learn, yes, learn, but take into consideration while learning new language. But can we do something a little bit different and make one of them the most important, at least at the very beginning? Well, we'll try to do that, and we're gonna take care of this one here, pronunciation, because um, in order to use the language, pronunciation helps you out with being understood. And since Polish language is very heavy language when it comes to grammar rules, the pronunciation helps you out with plenty of different things. And the good news is that pronunciation in Polish is fairly simple. Well, compared to grammar, it's very simple. It's like childish. But also compared to English language. For Poles who are learning English language, English pronunciation is tougher than for English people trying to learn Polish language. And the Polish pronunciation is, I believe, way easier than than English pronunciation, because of like two things that I want to start the course with. And I'll call them the golden rules of Polish language. And those rules are, let's look at them. Alright, here we go. Rule number one: all vowels are short. And the smiling face. I don't know if you should smile, because if you know languages like English, yeah, or Dutch, for instance, there are certain vowels, let's say all of them, that can be pronounced in two different ways: longer and shorter. And sometimes those two sounds are not exactly the same, although it stays for the same vowel. In Polish, it is not. It's not the problem. It's not an issue, because all vowel, despite of being short, of course, corresponds to one exactly sound. So this is good idea. I believe it is one of the most important things of Polish language because not all Slavic languages share the same rule. Polish language, it is like this. I mean, all vowels are short, and this is the rule. So it also means that all syllables are short. I mean, it at the same time, it doesn't mean that they are not stressed. They are, but uh, well, you just find it out when we start speaking Polish, actually. But for now, just remember the rule and try to adjust your speech using your own language to all short sounds only. Okay, so this is golden rule number 1, and the golden rule number 2 is that all letters are pronounced. And this is something important as well. But instead of talking about this, I'll just give you some examples of that. All right, so let's look at the examples I've made for you. All right, here we go. The word make. Now, imagine the word break. The word break ends with letter K. And when it's written, it also ends with letter K. But the word make ends with letter E. Although it sounds exactly the same, at least the end of the word, make and break. But there's letter E at the end. Of course, we do not pronounce this letter. We know that. But in Polish language, you would pronounce this letter because golden rule number 2 says all letters are pronounced. That's it. Alright, we have the word puppet. We can clearly hear that the double P is spelled like one P. Maybe there's a little bit more emphasis on that. I don't know. You just need to find it out yourself. But imagine that those 2 syllables are 2 separate words. And the word is split right across those 2 letters P. Alright? And try to pronounce those syllables separately, but at the same time, as fast as possible, to make it sound like one word. And that would be something like Polish pronunciation. I don't want to make a Polish pronunciation of English words, simply because I'm still improving my language, my English language, and I don't want to make any mistakes or well, okay, I think my English is not that bad, but just try to do that yourself, okay? Alright, with this word I could say like pup and pet, and then try to pronounce those 2 syllables like a one word, using this double P as clear sound of 2 letters. That would be Polish language, okay? And there's the word science. Of course, letter C is silent, but in Polish language you would pronounce all the letters that appear in this word. So, okay, that's it. Rule number 1 and rule number 2. All vowels are short, means that all vowels are of a normal length that you can say, like in English, if it's long, you can say it's long, right? If it's short, it's short. You can say it's just like short and long, right? Say normal and long. It's the same thing, okay? And all letters are pronounced. So try to make your pronunciation of English language just like a tiny little homework for now, at least for now. And try to pronounce those words, English words, in Polish way. So remembering both of those rules, because they might be a little bit useful. And the funny thing is that when I meet people who try to speak Polish, they just, it's like something natural that they're trying to make their Polish language sound like English language, and they're trying to make certain syllables a little bit longer because it's natural for them in English language. So do not try to do that with Polish, okay? So hope you remember those 2 rules, because they're going to assist us throughout the whole course. And if you think like you cannot make that much of a use of those rules right now, at least try to remember them, because well, much like in English, or like I mentioned in Dutch language, for instance, for Dutch people, Dutch pronunciation is natural. So when they need to make a longer sound, they make it. So it might be a little tough at the beginning, but we're gonna make also I'm gonna give you a lot of examples and you're gonna make use of it. So I believe you'll be able to learn this at just no time, naturally. And this is definitely the best way of learning Polish language. Okay, all right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. PolishUpYourPolish.blogspot.com. This is my website. You can find all the materials there. I'm gonna put some files there as well. Maybe some audio files, just to make any reading classes or something like that. You know, I have certain idea of how this course should look like, but I'm gonna develop it throughout the course, and I'm gonna follow your advices basically, because this course is not for me, it's for you. And if you feel like I should change something, add something, or subtract something, maybe there's something too much, too little, something like that, just leave a comment, email me, make just everything to contact me and to tell me about it, because it's all for you, and I'm going to do to make you at least try to learn the Polish language, and maybe just to like it, because I believe it's one of the to be honest, one of the underrated languages, because there are plenty of people. There are almost 40 millions of people, not only in Poland, speaking this language. So you might want to think of just learning it, at least to some degree, to make sure that you can get along with Poles much better, as long as they do not know English language. Okay, that's it for now. Lesson 0 is over. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your attention. See you next time. Hope you find those lessons useful and you will follow them as long as it is possible. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.